Okay, welcome back to video number 2. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Right folks, we're now going to go through the questions which I gave you in video number 1, which is converting three fractions into decimals. Okay, so first of all we are going to look at 2/5. 2/5, we need to first of all start the technique. The technique is to read the fraction. So when we read the fraction says 2 divided by 5. Top number divided by bottom number. Okay, so we have 2 divided by 5. Okay, now we're going to do the bus stop technique. And we have what we use. We use the X here. Okay, apologies for the sudden jerkiness of the camera in the end of video 1. That was as I got up, I kicked the tripod holding the camera and he went flying a bit. So apologies for that. So first of all we put the 5 over here. The second number always goes first. First number always goes second. We have the number 2. That 2 we are now going to decimalize it by putting a point at the end and an extra 0. We put more zeros if we need them in the question. So let's start. How many 5s can you make from 2? So if you have 2 friends, can you make a group of 5? And the answer is no. And in no, we have an O. Let's put the O down. Okay, this whole number here becomes the remainder, the whole number. So now we're saying how many 5s go into 20? How many groups of 5 friends can you make from 20? And the answer is we can make 4 groups. So the answer is 0.4. Done. Okay. Right, next one we have 2 25ths. Now we need to read the equation. Read. So it's the top number, which is 2 divided by the bottom number. That stands for, that is 2. That means divide by 25. Okay, we use our X technique. Second number comes first, first number goes second. Now, at this point here, most students will get a bit worried because they will have never done a calculation like this before, with such a big number outside and such a small number inside. You haven't done anything wrong so far. It's everything so far is still correct. Let's carry on. We need to decimalize the 2. And we are now going to add 2 zeros. You will see why. The decimal point is there. Copy it up. Straight up. So, let's do the question. How many groups of 25 can you make from 2? Can you make a group of 25 out of 2? And the answer is no. And in no, we have an O at the end. So you put the O down. Our O in the letter, we're using as a 0 in the numbers. Okay? And that 2, all of this number 2 becomes our remainder, and it becomes 20. How many 25s will go into 20 now? So now you have 20 friends in the playground. You want to make them into groups of 25. Can you do it? It's no again. And at the end of no, we have an O. So that whole 20 now gets carried on to the next number. And the number becomes 200. So how many 25s will go into 200? So now we're thinking of 25 times table. 25, 50, 75, 100. So how many 25s can you fit into 100? 4. So how many into 200? 8. And we're done. So if we have 2 over 25, that is equivalent to 0.08. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next 2 questions and we're going to finish video 2. And then hopefully you can rejoin us for how we add and minus subtract fractions. I don't know whether we'll have time to do that today, or maybe we'll have to come back to that on another day. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we have here now, we start, it's the top number divided by the bottom number. So that says 7, that line there in the fraction represents divide, and the bottom is 20. So we have 7 divided by 20. So let's write that down over here. Okay, we're going to write 7 divided by 20 and do it using the bus stop technique. Now, again, which number goes here and which number goes there? Shall I just copy the 7 down? No. Shall I copy the 20 down? No. We don't drop the numbers down, that's wrong. That is the wrong technique. We have to use the X technique. We swap them over. The first number always goes second. Okay, and the second number always goes first. Here we go. Okay, ready? Start. Let's go. So again, we say how many 20s can you make out of 7? You have 7 friends, can you make a group of 20? And the answer is no. At the end of no, we have an O. Put the O down. The O in no becomes our 0. Copy the decimal point up. How many, now that whole 7 becomes a remainder. The whole number becomes a remainder, it's left over. How many 20s go into 70? 20 will go into 70 3 times. 20, 40, 60, 80, that's too much. So 20 will go into 70 3 times. Now 20 times by 3 is 60. We have 70. So what's the remainder? 10. The difference is 10. We put the difference, the remainder onto the next number. So we say how many 20s can you make out of 100? If you have 100 friends, you've got to group them into 20s. You can make how many? 5 groups. Excellent. Done. I hope you are benefiting from these videos. We've made questions that look quite complicated in a nice and easy fashion. Done. Next fraction, 3 over 50. Let's read it again. It's all about reading. Read. So 3 over 50 means 3 divided by 50. So the top number divided by the bottom number. So that reads 3 divided by 50. 3 divided by 50. Okay, I've got 3 divided by 50 written down in that format. We read it from left to right. Now, which number do we put in here? We have to use our technique called the X technique. We swap the order over. The first number here becomes the second number in here. And the second number here, first number, second number becomes the first number. We get the decimal point and we copy it up to the top. Okay, ready? 3 divided by 50 is written like this in the bus stop technique. Swap over. Now, let's do the division calculation. How many 50s can you make from 3? Can you make a group of 50 out of 3? And the answer is no. And at the end of no we have an O. Okay, here our O is at 0. And this whole number here, 3, becomes the remainder. So the next question, how many groups of 50 can we make from 30? And the answer is still no. We can't do it. No has an O. And this whole 30 now becomes the remainder onto the next digit. How many 50s go into 300? And the answer is 6. Is 6. And that is the end of our video 2 done today on the 9th of April 2013. It's me and my student here sitting here having the lesson, Mr. Imran Iqbal. Okay, fractions to decimals part 2, changing non-tenths, non-hundredths and non-thousandths to decimals. We hope you have benefited from this session. Okay, that's going to be the end of our video. Please join us again if you get a chance to do one today. We'll be adding and subtracting fractions, otherwise it'll be next week. Okay folks, see you on the next video for adding and subtracting fractions. Oops.